In today's episode, we're diving into the history of San Francisco's Mission District, one of the city's oldest and most culturally rich neighborhoods. The Mission District gets its name from Mission San Francisco de Asís, built by Spanish settlers in 1776. Over the years, it has become a significant hub for Chicano and Hispanic communities, known for its vibrant shops, murals, and cultural events like parades and car shows. The start of war. From the 1940s to the 1960s, an influx of Mexican immigrants reshaped the neighborhood, especially after being displaced from Redcon Hill. This migration triggered white flight, further solidifying the Mission as a predominantly Latino area. By the 1960s, Central American immigrants also began settling in, adding new cultural influences. However, alongside its cultural growth, the Mission District also saw a rise in gang activity and crime. The area became a stronghold for various gangs, primarily Norteños and Serenos, leading to ongoing territorial disputes. If you're unfamiliar, Norteños or Nuestra Familia are gang dominant in Northern California, identifiable by their red colors and the number 14, as N is the 14th letter of the alphabet. Their rival gang, the Serenos, originated in Southern California but expanded north, aligning with the Mexican Mafia, La Im, and representing with the color blue and the number 13. Despite being based in separate regions, Serenos established cliques, subgroups, in Northern California, leading to frequent conflicts, including violence in the Mission District. This decades-long feud played out brutally in the streets, leading to countless incidents over the years. By October 1990, the rivalry had escalated significantly. One incident involved a Sereno named Bouncer, who ambushed a Norteño named Max, stabbing him multiple times. Miraculously, Max survived. Later, in a second encounter, Bouncer shot Max in the face, yet Max again managed to survive. Eventually, Max sought revenge, allegedly killing a Sereno named Spider, although he later beat the case in court. Meanwhile, Bouncer wasn't as fortunate. At just 16 years old, he was sentenced for his violent crimes, but only served 3 years before being released in 1993. Soon after, he and his Sereno crew were involved in multiple shootings in a single night, landing him back in jail. Manslaughter. In 1996, another Norteño, Frosty, was fatally stabbed in front of Mission High School by a man named Jose, who only served 3 years for manslaughter. However, upon his release, Jose was later shot and killed outside El Toro Bar, continuing the deadly cycle of retaliation in the Mission. The violence continued into the 2000s. On June 16, 2003, a shooting at 24th and Mission BART station left a man named Mark paralyzed. The assailants were later identified as Mike, a Sereno, his friend, and his girlfriend Angelique. Angelique, a known drug user, provided police with key information, leading to Mike's arrest and life sentence for the shooting. Just a year later, in June 2004, another Sereno named Luis was walking with his 6-year-old son, Rafael, when a Norteño named Marcos confronted and fatally shot him in broad daylight. Witnesses testified against Marcos, and he was sentenced to 15 years to life. The violence peaked again in 2008, when an MS-13 member, Edwin, allegedly killed a Norteño named Chino, though he was never formally charged. Later that year, Tony and his 2 sons were murdered, leading to Edwin's arrest and a 183-year sentence. On October 22, 2008, authorities cracked down, deploying 300 law enforcement officers, armored vehicles, and SWAT teams in a massive raid. This operation, which targeted MS-13 members, resulted in 42 arrests, marking a significant victory in the fight against gang violence. From 2009 to 2013, the Mission District recorded 31 homicides, mostly linked to gang rivalries. However, a combination of police sweeps, arrests, and gentrification led to a decline in violence. By 2011, Latino populations in the Mission District had dropped by 20% due to rising rent costs and changing demographics. Despite this, gang activity persisted, with multiple murders, shootings, and high-profile arrests of Norteños, Serenos, and MS-13 members. The MS-13 members. In 2017, 2 MS-13 members, Jose and Alexis, killed a man named George, believing his son was a Norteño. However, Jose made a fatal mistake. He dropped his cell phone at the crime scene, which contained incriminating photos and evidence linking him to the murder. Both were sentenced for crime. Violence erupted again in 2018, when a man wearing a blue shirt was attacked by 4 Norteños. Despite pleading that he wasn't affiliated, they shot up his car, leading to only one Norteño facing charges for gun possession. That same year, Norteño members G-Boy and Cuddy went on a killing spree, murdering 2 people they believed were Serenos. Another Norteño, Nando, was later linked to a 2019 homicide, after the victim's phone was found near a bridge with traces of blood. By 2020, federal indictments targeted MS-13 members, charging them with multiple murders and shootings between 2017 and 2019. Law enforcement efforts significantly reduced gang influence, but sporadic violence still occurred. For example, in April 2020, a Norteño named Iyer missed open fire on 3 Serenos sitting in a parked car, but missed all his shots. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison after authorities used a photo of him as evidence. Though crime rates have decreased, gang-related violence continues at lower levels. With gentrification and rising rent prices, it's estimated that by 2025, the Latino population in the Mission District will drop to just 31%, a dramatic shift from its historical roots. Despite these changes, the Mission District remains a culturally significant part of San Francisco, shaped by the communities that built it. This wraps up today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories on the city's history.